Have you ever felt a strange emptiness in your most intimate moments, like a vital piece of your sexuality was slipping away, yet you couldn't quite explain why? Imagine sharing your body with someone who once made you feel alive and desired, only to suddenly find yourself questioning your self-worth, your attractiveness, and even your very identity. Today, we're uncovering how a narcissist destroys your sexuality, a hidden yet devastating impact of narcissistic abuse. Meet Elle, a passionate, self-assured individual who believed love could conquer all. At first, her partner, seemingly charming and affectionate, made the bedroom a place of euphoria, showering her with praise. Yet slowly, that atmosphere changed. Now, every time she even thinks of being intimate, she's overwhelmed by doubt and shame. If you've sensed a similar shadow lurking over your own sexuality, just comment a simple, "I relate," below. Sometimes acknowledging that twinge of disquiet is the first step toward healing. In this video, we'll explore how narcissists manipulate sexual dynamics, why they do it, and the vicious aftereffects left behind. Along the way, we'll follow Elle's story, highlight rumors of celebrities who allegedly degraded their partners behind closed doors, and offer guidance on reclaiming your sense of desire, comfort, and safety. By the end, you'll learn you're not alone and, most importantly, you're not to blame for what happened. Before diving into the dramatic impacts on your sexuality, let's get clear on what narcissistic sexual abuse looks like. Narcissists often use intimacy as a tool of power rather than a shared, loving experience. They might display stellar performance early on but eventually reveal a robotic, self-centered agenda. It's the polar opposite of a nurturing bond where both partners feel secure and valued. Some celebrity rumors echo this pattern. Think of that superstar who seems benevolent on stage, yet sources whisper about controlling and demeaning behavior off stage, especially in private moments. While tabloids can exaggerate, the recurring theme is consistent. A narcissist sees sex as a performance to boost their ego or manipulate, not to foster genuine connection. If you find these contrasts familiar, someone you know acts loving in public but cold in private, type "familiar" in the comments. You never know who else might need validation that their confusion is real. Elle's early days with her partner, named Jake, felt like a romantic film. Jake was attentive, seemed to respect her boundaries, and even bragged about how amazing she was in bed. Yet over time, small cracks appeared. He started rolling his eyes when she discussed emotional aspects of intimacy, sometimes mocking her for being too clingy. Then he'd flip back, showering her with affectionate gestures, making her second-guess her doubts. Soon, things in the bedroom changed. It was no longer about mutual exploration. Jake demanded specific acts, refusing to consider her comfort. If she hesitated, he'd sulk or rage, and she'd ultimately give in just to keep the peace. This cycle left Elle doubting her attractiveness, her preferences, and even her right to say no. If you've ever felt caught between desiring closeness yet dreading conflict, drop "me too" in the comments. Sometimes a simple phrase unites us in understanding we're not alone. One of the insidious consequences of narcissistic sexual abuse is numbing out your desires. Over time, repeated criticism or comparison, "You're too fat, you smell weird, you're nothing like my ex," erodes self-esteem. This constant shaming deadens your natural drive. You may lose the urge to be touched or to initiate intimacy, associating it with rejection or belittlement. Elle recounts nights where Jake openly blamed her for ruining the mood, ridiculing her body. She found herself eventually avoiding sex altogether, preferring no intimacy over the humiliating experiences. Gradually, she disconnected from her own body, feeling as if it didn't belong to her but was an object for Jake's scrutiny. If you recognize that slow, painful retreat from something once pleasurable, comment "numb" below. Acknowledging it is the first step to regaining your sense of self. Interestingly, some survivors of narcissistic sexual abuse swing to the opposite extreme, hypersexuality. Why? Because physical intimacy might be the lone moment they sense any closeness. In that fleeting encounter, the narcissist might show up just enough for a rush of dopamine or oxytocin, hooking the victim further. Elle found herself initiating sex more often, hoping to rekindle the passion she once felt. Jake rarely refused but never truly engaged. Still, those brief moments of touch momentarily soothed her deep loneliness. Later, she'd feel ashamed for wanting someone who treated her so poorly. This phenomenon mirrors stories from certain public figures rumored to endure toxic relationships, yet refusing to leave. Some accounts say they appear desperate for their partner's approval, especially physically, because it's the only time that partner offers a scrap of attention. If you've experienced this push and pull, both craving and resenting intimacy, leave a push-pull in the comments. Another blow to one's sexuality is discovering the narcissist's infidelity. The ultimate betrayal can lead to deep distrust of future partners and a shutdown of sexual exploration. A well-known example might be a star athlete who's admired publicly but rumored to cheat repeatedly. Behind the scenes, their partner often ends up demoralized, anxious, and reluctant to be vulnerable again. Elle's realization came when she found suggestive texts on Jake's phone. He dismissed her outrage with, "If you satisfied me, I wouldn't need to look elsewhere," piling the blame on her. Heartbroken, she spiraled into questioning if she was enough or worthy of love at all. Some friends recommended therapy, but Jake belittled the idea, insisting she was overreacting. If you've seen or felt that sense of betrayal tied to your partner's wandering eye or secret affairs, comment "trust broken" below. Naming it helps us remember we're not the defective ones when confronted with betrayal. A lesser talked about scenario is when a narcissist is closeted or hiding true sexual preferences. They might use their partner as a facade, depriving the partner of genuine desire. Meanwhile, they project faults onto the unsuspecting partner, making them feel unattractive or unworthy. This deception can leave a profound scar, as the victim never stood a chance to meet the narcissist's real interests. Elle discovered hints that Jake might have been pursuing men online. He never admitted it, dismissing her concerns as insane accusations. She felt doubly traumatized. Not only was she lied to, but she spent years trying to appease someone who had no intention of genuine intimacy. It was as if she was competing on a stage she never asked to be on. If you've come across a situation where someone used a relationship as a cover, you might write "double life" to raise awareness. This scenario can erode sexual confidence more than any other. All these manipulative tactics lead survivors to question themselves: am I crazy for wanting them? Am I broken for still craving intimacy with a person who treats me so poorly? This spiral of guilt is not just emotional confusion, but a trauma response. Survivors often feel gross or addicted, especially if they keep returning for the narcissist's short-lived warmth. Elle sank into a period of self-hatred, convinced she was stupid for seeking Jake's touch after everything he did. Yet, as she discovered later in therapy, these urges were part of a trauma bond fueled by intermittent reinforcement. The cycle of minimal affection then rejection psychologically hooked her, not because she was weak, but because human brains crave consistency and love. If you've ever wrestled with that "what's wrong with me" question, drop a "not me" below. Reminding ourselves we're not inherently flawed can ease that toxic shame. So how do you escape this web and reclaim your sexuality? Acknowledge reality, understand that your discomfort, numbness, or hypersexuality are responses to emotional starvation and manipulation, not defects of your character. Introduce gentle self-touch. Before trusting another, rebuild trust with your own body. Simple gestures, like hugging yourself, can signal safety to your nervous system. Seek professional support. Therapists specializing in trauma or abuse can help decode patterns, reduce shame, and guide you towards healthy intimacy. Take your time, don't force yourself into a new relationship or new sexual experiences if you're not ready. Authentic readiness emerges once you re-establish emotional security. Elle found solace by working with a trauma-informed therapist who guided her in body-based practices, encouraging her to slowly resensitize to gentle, caring touch, first with herself, later with trusted friends and eventually a new partner. The journey wasn't easy, but every small step built a fresh foundation of self-worth. If you believe in the power of therapy or empathic support, comment, therapy helps. It might motivate someone else on the fence about seeking professional help. We've peeled back the layers of how a narcissist dismantles your sexuality, through shame, manipulation, broken trust, and even hidden agendas. Elle's story, combined with possible celebrity parallels, reminds us these issues can lurk in any relationship, regardless of fame or status. The silent killer is often our own guilt, as we blame ourselves for craving or avoiding intimacy with an abuser. But here's the vital reminder: you're not broken. The sexual confusion or numbness you're dealing with is a direct result of narcissistic sabotage, lies, put-downs, betrayals, or withheld affection. Restoring your sexual identity is more than possible, it's your right. With time, professional guidance, and renewed self-compassion, you can heal from the trauma bond, reclaim your desires, and discover a form of intimacy that is nurturing, fulfilling, and true. If you're ready to stand up for your own healing, share a small affirmation in the comments, like, "I deserve wholeness." That simple phrase can kindle hope, not just for you, but for someone else reading your words. Thank you for spending this time with me. Remember, you are not defined by what a narcissist made you feel. Your sexuality is your own, and it can shine again once you remove the shadows they cast. Keep learning, keep healing, and keep believing. You deserve genuine love, free of manipulation and fear.